let's go make this gauze baby blanket. But first, always remember to share this so it will save to your profile and you can find it when you're looking for it again later. When I was at QuiltCon, I went to this booth and it was our binding girl, Bessie Pearl Binding Company, and she had these blankets. It was this gauze fabric, literally just a piece of fabric or two pieces. See how it's doubled, laid one pretty side down, one pretty side up. And then she had some binding around the edges. So that's what we're gonna do, because I have a friend who's having a girl and she needs this sweet blanket. So I cut some 2.5-inch strips and I have 4 of them here, I think. Yes. This is 1 yard of gauze fabric. It's just 1 yard. That's where it's folded in half. I'm not doing anything to it. I'm going to leave it just like it is, except we're going to come back and put the binding on it. And I cut 4 2.5-inch strips. Now the first thing I'm going to do is lay them pretty side to pretty side on the ends, and I'm going to sew all 4 of them together until I have one really long piece. Now I'm just going to sew these with a straight stitch, a 1/4-inch seam, back stitching when I start and when I stop, because my grandma said so. This is my ironing situation. Heat resistant pad, wool mat, Oliso Mini Pro 3 iron, all linked in my Walmart and Amazon storefronts if you're looking for them. Now we have sewn this end to end until we have one really long piece. Now we're just going to come and we're going to fold it in half and iron it down. Now I just sewed the ends together, the 2.5-inch ends together, pretty side to pretty side, so that I could make this binding. It's not cut on the bias. Don't yell at me. If you want to cut yours on the bias, that's exactly how I want you to do it. It's not how I'm doing it, but I know some of y'all out there say that's the only way to do it. So I've got mine sewn together, and now we are folding it over and ironing it down. We're going to iron the whole long piece. I have folded it in half so that the pretty side is on the outside. The fabric is folded in half and both of the raw edges are together. I'm going to bind this exactly the same way I do my quilts, and I'm going to show y'all. But if you don't understand, there are tons of great binding tutorials on my page with up close views of what I'm doing. So I'm going to start right here. If you see this tail, we'll call it a tail. I'm not sewing that down. I'm going to start sewing where my clip is. My fabric is folded, pretty sides on the outside. This is the raw edge of my fabric next to the raw edge of my blanket. And I have clipped it about 3 inches down. It doesn't have to be that long, but you are going to need that when you get to the end of your quilt or blanket that we're binding. So now I'm going to sew all the way down to the very bottom. When I get to the bottom, I'm going to fold my binding out to the right. Now I want to make this pretty 45-degree angle, and then I'm going to come back and fold it in to the left. And I'm going to do that at every corner until I make it all the way around my blanket. And then after I sew this, we're going to fold it over and sew the other side. Or you can fold it in half. Lots of people do that. We may do that too. We'll see. So I'm starting sewing at my clip right here. And I'm going to sew all the way around with a straight stitch, a 1/4-inch seam, back stitching when I start and when I stop. And when I get to each corner, I'm going to go out to the right and then back to the left. I had no idea when I started this journey that quilt binding was so controversial. But don't worry, I figured it out pretty quickly. And here's the truth. Do what you know, do what you love, and the only rule is that it has to make you happy. I know that I break a whole bunch of rules, and guess what? I don't care. It makes me happy, and I'm sewing for joy. And if you care, I want you to follow the rules. I'm not the boss of you. You do it like you like it, and I'll do it like I like it. And that's one of the things that's so beautiful about this community we've created. All of us do it differently, or a lot of us do. Y'all have taught me a lot. Maybe I've taught you a lot, but we can learn from each other. Now, when I get back to the beginning, or I'm coming down the side where the beginning is, let's make sure you can see this. When I'm coming down the side where the beginning is, this is what I have. So I want to take one piece, it really doesn't matter which one, I always just use the one I started with, the end that I started with, and fold it under and then lay this piece inside of it. Now you may have to clip your binding off. I had to cut some off of mine because it was too long, and then I'm just going to continue to sew until I get back to where I started. This is what we have. So do you see your corner that you did? If you take your finger and you push it in and over, you have this really pretty mitered corner. So then this is what you'll do. You'll fold it over and you'll sew it all the way around the other side. So you've done this. Now you're literally just folding it over and sewing it all the way around. Easy peasy. This time when you sew it, you're gonna sew as close to the inside as you can. Kind of like a top stitch, but only sew as close as you're comfortable. With this binding method, you only see the binding on one side. You don't see it on both sides of your quilt. If you wanna see it on both sides, just fold your binding in half instead of folding it all the way over. And if you do that, you'll sew it down the same way, and then you'll see the binding on both sides. Isn't this adorable and so sweet and super easy? It's super soft. It feels really good. It would make the greatest baby gift. And you could make it larger if you wanted to. This was just 1 yard of fabric that was already folded in half that I let it stay folded in half. Or you could make it smaller, whatever size you wanted to make. And I just added a little binding to the edges. So easy, so cute. I hope you love it as much as I do. My name is Tammy. I'm your favorite sewing teacher, and I would love for you to come sew with me.